Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Freeze Friday. And I'm going to do a little bit also, I guess today, a little bit of a monthly wrap up and a few things that I'm looking forward to not only next week, but in November. So firstly, I spent a good part of the week playing with those lovely little squares. You know, last week I was talking about the layout that I did based with this heart, which was a scrap lift from Sarah Scraps, and how I had reduced it to be able to create a card. So I finished the card. Here's the card, and I love it. So this uses 1-inch squares, and I think it's a good size. I'm able to get a little bit of a mat around, and I got my little Celebrate. If you recall, that's 3 layers of cardstock. I think I could actually go to 4. So I have a few bits and pieces left here, so I'm going to continue on. I'm going to do a few more of these cards, but I got that done. And then, if you recall, I asked for help about trying to transition or move this or use this kind of technique to make a Christmas tree or a tree. So this is a fun team effort. So everybody in the Freeze gang got involved, and Christy started playing around with all sorts of different sizes and measurements. And then Karen, where is it? Karen sent me this that she had found on Pinterest. So I started playing around. Now, my first idea was to go with 1-inch squares. Now, as you can see, I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, there is no way 1-inch squares are gonna fit on a card. Anyway, I have no idea what I was thinking, but Christy came up with the awesome measurements here. So there's 1 squares, 2 squares, 3 squares, 4 squares, 3 squares, 4, 5, and then back to 4. So she worked around, I think she came up with 2 or 3 different iterations, and this was her last one that she played with. So I think this, though, is a lovely size for a layout. So there you go. And I believe, actually, as I get back to the hearts, I think Christy is also working on maybe even a little bit of a smaller version of this for a project or a layout. So maybe see what she has to say in this week's Freeze Friday or in the upcoming week. So then I realized that there was no way I was going to be anywhere close with 1 inches. So I went and played with 1/2 inches. Now, this is a 4 by 5 1/4, which would be the sort of same kind of card base as this. And I followed Christy's measurements and the same kind of principle. And that is, I think, a perfect size for a card. It's quite finicky, but I love the outcome. Now, in either of these cases, these are just a couple of those 6 by 6 sheets that I sort of cut up and played about. It's not really patterns that I would intend to use in exactly that way. I was just playing around to see if I could get sort of a template. And this will be a template. Now, obviously, I have to bring it down to have it centered on the page, but I think this way works perfectly. So look for some of these as part of the Christmas cards. So that's a lot of what I and some of my Freeze Gang buddies were playing around with this week. Lots and lots of fun. So you'll see a lot more of that from me in the next little bit. And I really do want to try this one as well, which is also the principle of squares, but not placed as a diamond, placed really just as squares, with then cut in 2, sort of similar to how I had done on the hearts. So I want to really give this a try as well. And then in terms of layouts that you haven't seen, well, or that I hadn't shown as part of the kit or the Freeze Fridays, is this layout that was on my channel this Wednesday, as part of the Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. And it uses that very first kit that I put together with the Bo Bunny Weekend Market. So there will be one more layout, actually maybe even a double pager, that you're going to see on my channel this Sunday with this kit. And then I think this one is going to get retired, and next week I'll be showing you what's left over of that kit and what goes into the giveaway bag. But I am really, really happy with what I got done with this kit. So there we go. So that's where we are, sort of, I guess, in the last week. Now, in terms of the month, a few of the goals that I had set myself, a couple of which I'm quite happy with. If you remember, I wanted to get 4 layouts done in the Palooza 2. And I did get that done. So I had shared this with you previously. I did get the 4 layouts done. But I do need to continue working on this lovely Palooza, because I also now have Palooza 3. So before I talk about doing more in there, Palooza 3, I have 1 double pager complete, and I have 5 layouts in various stages of completion from the actual event, which is always awesome. But we need to get back to finishing off Palooza 2, but I'm happy with what I got done here, and we are going to go for at least another 4 layouts in November to finish off, because I have done a few. So I think if I get 4, I think there might be maybe 6 left. So I'm going to try and at least get 4. So I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with what I got done with all of those little mini kits that I put together for Scrapathon 4. And if you look at my How to Kill a Kit with Style from just yesterday, you'll see those layouts, some that I used the actual How to Kill a Kit with Style, and some that I used all of those mini kits because I had a dual project focus as well as the products in October. Where I'm not happy with those little mini kits, I had put them together mainly or partially for Nicole Jones Scrapathon 4, and that was pretty much of a fail because I actually got 2 layouts done for that class in October. So we need to work on that in November, and I am going to try and get at least 4 more of those layouts done. In terms of layouts, very specifically in the next week, I have a double pager probably coming up to my channel on Sunday. I also have a single page, which will be that famous scrap lift of Katie Scott, which just so happens to work perfectly with another little series that I'll be launching and participating in one of my Scrap Buddies series. So that will be up on Sunday as well. So that's 3 layouts. And I need to start getting myself organized for some cards, because next weekend, once a year, I do have an IRL, in real life little crop with some local scrap buddies, mainly card makers, except my friend Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie comes as well, and she's a scrapbooker, and she's a member of our group, so you know Anne-Marie. But we do get together once a year to get some Christmas cards done, and that is next week. So I need to get myself a little bit organized for that. Then if I look at a couple of other things in the month, now another epic fail, unfortunately, was the embossing powders. Didn't get any of those, none used. So I'm going to carry that over into whatever the product focuses are for November. I will maintain that one because I figure on Christmas cards I can get that done. Happy with what I got done with the art crayons, Vicki Boutin art crayons, and I love the art crayons. Happy that I did start playing with the watercolor markers a little bit, but still need to play with those. They do still intimidate me a little bit, so need to be doing a little bit more work with that. And then if we look at the month a little bit, so some overall goals that I might have for this month. My lovely subby, Josephine, had mentioned in a comment when I was talking about the Vicki Boutin things. I'm really sorry if you can hear that wind. It is absolutely crazy today. We have all sorts of wind warnings in effect. The lights keep flickering, so let's just hope I get through this video. But anyway, so I apologize for that crazy noise, if you can actually hear it. So Josephine, in her comment, had said that she had a lot of dry chalks in her stash that she really didn't know what to do with other than maybe edging or that kind of thing. So I said, okay, in November, I'm going to dig those out. That is some very deep stash diving from my stash, and we will try and play with that a little bit in November. So I have these Pebbles Jewel Tones 30 chalks. So these are a little bit shimmery. Let's see if I can open them and show them to you. Oh, and look, they have all of these are old. When did I get these? These are one of the very first things I bought. So this is probably somewhere around 2005, maybe. So we have these chalks, and they have, look at that, all those little cotton ball sort of applicators. So that should be fun. We'll see what I can do with that. So I have these. Then I also have the Stampin' Up. They call them pastels, but they are basically also dry chalks. And I have some applicators. And look at that. I have a lovely white eraser in here that I never knew I had that I could use elsewhere. So you can see that I have used these. I got these definitely quite a bit after that. These I've probably had since maybe 2010, 2011. So we'll see a little bit what we can do with that. And one of Nicole's prompts in the Scrapathon 4 was using chalks. So that might give me a little bit of a head start on that. And then I had this, and this, these Faber-Castell, they're called soft pastels. These I bought when I was actually on my backpacking trip in Europe, when I picked up a little bit of drawing and art, because I could, easily have a sketchbook in my backpack and some pencils and a few pastels. So I actually bought these during my backpacking trip, and they're called soft pastels, but they really are, they're sort of chalk to me. They definitely are chalk. So those are the 3 types of chalks that I have, and I will try and do something with those at least once a week throughout the month. So maybe backgrounds. Now the first idea I have is to try and put something through an embossing folder, like maybe do that Christmas tree kind of idea on just white, put it through an embossing folder, and then with sort of, one of those thumb applicator things, just maybe put some dry chalk on the raised areas. What do you think about that? If you have any ideas or something you would like me to do, or you would like to see me try doing with chalks, please leave me a comment below. But that's one idea I had in my head this morning. What do you think? So we're going to try and play with that in November. And then now we come to the pièce de résistance, which basically this morning made me reorganize and reevaluate what I was going to do in November, because my lovely friend Sharon, who is also part of the Freeze Gang, who has been my friend for since the Secret Not Secret Kit Club started over 2 years ago, sent me this gorgeous paper pad as a birthday present. As you know, my birthday is around the Canadian Thanksgiving. It's actually on the 8th of October. The postal services being what they are, it took all this time to get to me, but my lovely friend sent me this, and it is beautiful. Sharon knows my style, she knows my tastes, and she said that she actually chose this because it was a bit reminiscent of Auburn Lane, which she knew was my favorite collection of all times and one of her favorites, and she is very, very right. So this is gorgeous. Look at this a little bit. Let's look at this a little bit more closely. Look at these beautiful colors, lovely florals, butterflies, and there is some gold foiling on here as well. Beautiful. This is sort of a deep Merlot or wine red with some pink, a sort of dusty rose pink and a very pale baby pink. Gorgeous navy and white. Look at that. Look at that gold foil. Is that not gorgeous? Look at that. In, again, all those navy, burgundy, beautiful colors. I love this pattern. Isn't that fun? We could just put something there. Navy and green. That is lovely as well. And these kind of little florals, great background. Lovely to use as a strip. Some beautiful gold foiling. A lovely, can you see that? That's sort of like an aubergine, an eggplant color. Can you see that? How lovely that is with a little bit of a wood grain in the back. Another lovely tiny floral that could be used as a background. Ooh, this is pretty. Diamond shaped, navy, white, and gold. Rainbows, always awesome to use. A lovely sort of tile pattern. That is fun. Ceramic kind of pattern. That's going to be fun to use. I think I actually have an idea of a picture that I might use for that. Beautiful. This now is definitely very reminiscent of Auburn Lane, as is this. Beautiful. Again, this is a little bit of a sort of ceramic type, European ceramic type pattern. Beautiful. And we are back to the beginning. So look at this. There are 36 sheets in that, and my friend sent that to me, and I am so appreciative. So I am going to play with this in November. This is going to sort of be my Friday freezes and my freeze gang base for what I do in November, because on top of that, not only is this actually gorgeous, but then I looked at, of course, at what my friend Karen put in our Facebook group about what her November mood board was, and one, it's absolutely gorgeous, and two, does that not match again and again? Does that not match that paper pad beautifully? And her product focus this month, we have stickers and rub-ons. So, which means that so far I have stickers, rub-ons, and I got to get those embossing powders out, and then we'll see what Rediscover Your Stash has as a product focus for this month as well. And lastly, what I'm going to use to help me dig deep into my stash and play along and get some creative juices flowing this month is Vicki Bouton's. If you watched her Facebook Live last Friday, she got a series of what she calls artful technique prompts together. There are 50 that she wants to use between now and Christmas throughout autumn for at least a few months. And there's everything here. There's watercolor, least favorite color, paper piecing, which there you go, our Christmas trees. So you see, I've already done that. Circles, magazines, pop it up. So using some foam dots, foam stamps, shadow stamping, white outlines, layers, black outlines, die cuts, using our fingers. That's going to work well with the chalk, don't you think? I think we're going to try that with the chalk. Positive, negative, so doing some fussy cutting and die cutting, some stitching. All sorts of what she calls artful prompts, which could be great for doing mixed media, layouts, cards, the entire gambit of our paper crafting fun. So there you go. So please don't forget to go see Christy's channel today and Kristen's channel today. I believe Shannon is having to take a few weeks off, as she is adjusting to some new scheduling in her life. So I don't know that she will have a Freeze Friday up today, but I know Kristen's actually is already up as mine goes up. So you may have already seen Kristen's. Christy's might be up or is probably going to come up within the next little bit. So make sure you see them. And again, if there's anything you would like to see us as a group tackle, just leave me a comment, or leave Christy or Kristen, leave us a comment. We'd be glad to give it a try. I'll keep working on some Christmas trees and some hearts, and I might try, I don't know, what do you think? Should I try a star? Oh, here we go. This is becoming obsessive. Should I try a star with this? I mean, for sure we can do like a diamond shape. I think that's fairly easy. I might try that. But do you think we could do a star that way? I have no idea. Or maybe a star with a circle in the middle? I don't know. Off I go. Leave me any questions, comments, or anything you would like to see us do. Let us know if we're encouraging you to do a little bit of a spending freeze. I know I've received many comments from you that although you're not doing a very specific spending freeze the way we are, you certainly are becoming a lot more conscious of what you have in your stash. And I think really that's what it's all about, is using all our lovely goodies. So I will see you next week. Thank you for being so supportive and encouraging of me and us throughout this spending freeze. And I will see you and talk to you next Friday, if not before, on some of my other series. Have a lovely Scrappy Friday. Bye.